Hi, Abhivardhan. So it was really a wonderful session. So it's a great walkthrough. So I have a couple of things just to get a views from anyone of this forum as well. One, right, is there any body or authority has been set as a board to classify this high risk medium based on the evaluation? That's one. Second question is, any company, if they are starting in the small company, right, to open it as a startup, their group, if they even develop an high risk or what kind of an AI, first of all, where what is the metrics to evaluate and categorize this? Kind of my understanding is silent and it is interpretable, right? The second, if it is a company which can be an even a Google or any company where they can do a no small startup company they can open or acquire, when they get more vulnerable to these kind of high risk applications and continue to be calling it out as a developing phase, right? So
Yeah,
I may be seeing that this is a challenge where technically I've been facing in many companies. 2021 onwards they started, right? And similarly your preview portion of it, the classification, I think combination of brains works on this, I feel. They take the data, though my consent is not explicit or a layering is maintained. They take the data, one, they get exempted and in the preview part, so they explore it. Second, it has been running by the small company. Third, they maintain it as a still in a developing phase. So multiple phases have been happening and small one, they are bundling it for a commercial aspect, all that is happening. So how do you foresee this one from an India perspective and global perspective on this?
sure. So I'll just be very quick. So I think the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology is basically the entity which is proposing a Digital India Act. Now, in that 2023 March PPT, which they had presented in Bengaluru in the UIDAI office, which is on their website, that was at the peak of the G20 presidency. They suggested that risk classification of AI will be under the Digital India Act. Now, again, when will that act come? What is the structure of the bill? I don't know. The PPT is very lucrative, though. It's a good back end to talk about, but I don't know about the front end, so I don't know. But on the second question which you have raised is very interesting because when I read a recent criticism to the digital competition bill, and the criticism was that large firms who are trying to create new business models out of anything will be discouraged, and this could cause hampering innovation to India. So I'll give you an example. So you talked about consent. So uh, so the whole safe harbor thing also comes here, right? For example, what YouTube is doing by processing some data out of Google search, these are two different intermediaries. YouTube is both OTT and social media in certain ways. Google search is an intermediary in search as well as ad tech, simply because of relationship with AdSense and the kind of coverage and knowledge graph it gives. The problem is when there is no explicit consent, they keep coming up with this excuse that we are still developing, which is again fine. But from a commercial point of view, they never clarify as to why. And then they obviously lawyer up in US, and everything is now based on a US Senate discussion or some hearing. Then we are at the mercy of the FTC to wait what's gonna come in their own district court judgment. So I think the thing is we should not be right. I mean, this is something even a Singaporean would ask, somebody in Dubai would ask, somebody would ask in Japan and other places. So I think this is again, a lot of things are not clarified from a commercial point of view because a lot of data sharing agreements and certain procedure related agreements happen internally. And that's why I think at least recognizing that these contracts happen and these practices happen was also an attempt in this AI Act. In that, what, at least recognize that, if you file these contracts, have these things, maybe some voluntary aspect are needed, because I think it happens in other fields as well, right? In securities and other fields, it happens. There are specific contracts. Maybe templates are not mandatory, but certain points are mandatory that they need to be there explicitly. And I think if we promote such basic practices at a voluntary level, then we can see how it is. But I think the record says even with CCI and METI, again, I believe the CCI handles kind of better than METI on big tech. That big tech companies have not been able to even comply with the IT rules of 2021. So, and this is just like this has not been possible for them a lot of times. While with the debate on WhatsApp, encryption is a technological problem, and again, there is no legal solution to it. WhatsApp is WhatsApp. We can't do anything on that. So yeah,
Yeah.
I hope that answered your question. But I love the question, by the way.
Yeah.